This morning, I could actually be anywhere in Indianapolis or Carmel or Greenwood, Plainfield, you name any city or town around Indianapolis. And that's literally where I could be this morning, because it isn't really necessarily today's video about the location I'm in, but the locations that I'm going to talk about in this video and how they might matter to you if you're trying to get to know any of the cities and towns, or if you're just trying to explore and get a feel for what any of them are like. So stay tuned. Well, today, I told you I could be anywhere, but I'm in Carmel. I happen to be way on the east side of Carmel, pretty close to the White River, southeast part of Carmel, in a little, what I would say is kind of an insignificant park. It's Gray Road Park, and right here behind me, I mean, it's pretty dead in here today. It's a school day, so kids are in school. Playground behind me, and also it's February, so it's usually not a time when it's exceptionally crowded here, but it's a really warm February day. Got baseball fields back here. There's something called the Carmel Dads Club that runs a lot of baseball games and sports in here, and then also Carmel schools, they play games here too, but it's just a really nice, relatively large park in Carmel. But I would say it's one of two. It depends on who you are, but it's kind of an insignificant park if you're a tourist of Carmel. So if you're here visiting and you're interested in just what the highlights of Carmel are, this is not a place that you'd probably go. And then on the flip side of that, this is a place that if you live in Carmel, especially on the east side of Carmel, that you might occasionally visit, and it's certainly going to be nice to know that it's here. So this park, like I said, could be insignificant to some and significant to others. If you were visiting Carmel and you wanted to get to know Carmel better, this is a park that is on our list. Now, we actually have a list of places that we feel like you should visit and spend a little bit of time in, maybe very little time in, or maybe you spend an hour or so, maybe a little bit more than that. We have places like that in every single city and town that surrounds Indianapolis. It's actually a big, long list, so you don't want to explore all of the cities and towns likely. You probably have it narrowed down to maybe 4, maybe 3, maybe 2, maybe even 1. And if you're coming in for a visit or you're planning on moving here, you probably want to get to know it. But how or what is it that you should really know about it? I would say in a place like Indianapolis, if you're a tourist in Indianapolis, then you probably want to hit some of the touristy spots. And yes, Indianapolis does have tourism, we really do. There are a lot of people, millions that come in and out of Indianapolis every single year for different things, whether they're visiting people, whether they're in here for an event, conference, or something like that. There are touristy spots in Indianapolis. And a lot of those would be, of course, downtown Indy, where you could go to museums or something like the Children's Museum, or you could catch Pacers game or Fever game or something like that. Those would be big events that everybody around Indianapolis probably does at least from time to time, along with all of the other tourists around. But how often are you going to do that? I mean, everybody's pretty busy, really busy, in fact. So we'll go to a Colts game, maybe 2 per year, something like that. We'll go to a couple of Pacers games. We'll go to a Fever game. We'll go to an Indians game. We'll go to the Children's Museum multiple times during the year. If not on our own, we'll probably go during a school field trip or something like that. But those are really one-offs. We're all so busy. So if we just got an hour to kill or 2 hours to kill or something like that, where do the locals go to spend some time? Where do they take their kids? What do they do on a daily basis? Where are the kids' sports? Where are the kids' activities? What kinds of places, what can I expect as far as the number of places where stuff like that occurs? And where are they? So while a place like Grand Park in Westfield, well, that's a big one, big tourist spot, but a place like Gray Road Park right here, this is a spot where some of that stuff happens. This is where it's not a big tourist attraction. This is more for the locals. People who live in Carmel, they're gonna be the ones that know about this park. They're also gonna be the ones that utilize this park probably close to all year long. Even though it's February, I know that there was a family here just earlier today with some really young kids on this playground. They were just leaving as I pulled in. But after school, there'll be people here today because it's a freakishly warm day in February. It's over 60 degrees, which is unbelievable in how it feels, even though there's still a little bit of snow on the ground from January. So it looks really weird. Have snow on the ground for us is definitely strange. But this would be the type of place that I would send you to. So on that big list for Carmel or Avon or Greenwood or Plainfield or Westfield or Greenfield, we have a list of places for entertainment, places for parks or where the parks are located, where trailheads are located for the different trail systems that some of the cities have and how they can connect with one another. So what we like for you to do is to set your itinerary up, and that's kind of what we're doing for you, is helping you set up your itinerary to explore a place like Carmel and figure out where a lot of the locals go. So it used to be a list, PDF with the address, the name of the place, description of the place, what it looks like, what you can expect to find there, and we've put it in an app. And the app is pretty sweet now because it's all GPS based. You can pick and choose where you want to go. You can plop it into your maps, whether that's Apple Maps, Google Maps, Waze, any of those three, whatever your preference is. I happen to like Apple Maps because I've got an iPhone and it's just cleaner, but Google Maps works well too, and I've used Waze a bunch in the past as well. And it really cleans it up for you, and you can get a specific route, you can change your route, and it'll help you just get over the overwhelm of figuring out how in the world you're going to explore a city like Carmel or a city like Westfield or a city like Greenwood or any of the places around Indy. But other than just knowing where a lot of the locals go, there's another reason for sending you to a place like Greenwood Park. So this particular part of Carmel looks really different than, let's say, the village of West Clay, way over on the west side of Carmel, or West Park on the west side of Carmel. This part of Carmel is really close to that quintessential East Carmel, which is kind of the original Carmel, and everything is really mature, lots of trees, a lot of the homes are older, not all of them. In fact, if you get really far east in Carmel, it starts to get a little bit more on the new side, but there's Prather Park over there and a couple other locations that we would have in your itinerary to go to, not just to see the park and realize that it's there, although I think that is really important because you can see what the city parks look like, or any location, because Arts and Design District, Midtown, City Center, that's all on the list too. But I would consider those more entertainment, and certainly if you're a tourist in a place like Carmel, those are going to be your tourist spots. Like the Palladium, where you have, it's an unbelievable music facility and performing arts facility, and people travel from all over to go to the Palladium. It's incredible, and they have some unbelievable shows in there. So while locals can hit it, everybody can hit it, and it's a touristy place. But more unknown places like this, you can see that it's there, you can see what the city spends its money on, what that day-to-day activity, the option, the length or the list of options would be for you when you're living here. Just to know that it's there is great, but it also gets you into a specific part of that city. So it can take away, where do I need to go? Also, how do I get there? And you can then pay more attention to what it looks like on your way there, and then as you experience some time in that location, what it looks like around it. So, like today, I'm just here in Gray Road Park, and I'm not spending a lot of time here, maybe just a few minutes, just enough really to shoot this video, to be honest. But I can see what the park is like, what the surrounding area looks like, and then I can move on to the next place. So this is really how I would explore any city that I'm not familiar with. And I would do this now. I probably didn't really realize that I should be doing this a long time ago. I would do this for any city. So if I'm going to spend any significant amount of time in name a random city across the entire country, and I'm probably going to try to put together a list a little bit like this. Of course, I want to know what the touristy spots are, the popular things are that a lot of people can come and do, even if they don't live there. But I want to know what it would be like when I'm living there and I get out of the house. What kind of options do I have around me? So if you are moving anywhere to the Indianapolis Metro, anywhere in the Metro, and you want to have this list in the app so it can help you with your exploration, and actually you can even do a little exploring in the app when you're not here. You can go through there and learn some more about each of the places. You can also do this if you live here. The Indianapolis Metro is big enough, for example, if somebody lives in Fishers and they live in Fishers for 20 years, they may, in that 20 years, never go to Plainfield because they're just so far apart from one another. But they actually have things to do in each one that would probably make it worth traveling to, especially when you have an extended period of time. A place like Splash Island in Plainfield is a super cool place to go with the kids. An awesome water park. There's actually several water parks around the Indy Metro. You could make it a water park tour around Indy during the summer. So if you didn't know that existed, and a lot of people don't because they are so far away, it could even be a pretty big help for somebody like that. So reach out. Contact information's in the description below. If you have questions about this list of places, this itinerary that we can help set up for you in our app, then we'd be happy to chat with you about it and just see how it might benefit you. So again, reach out any way that you know how from that contact info in the description below, and we'll catch you in the next one.